Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Vincent LoTempio, where he tells us the 3 problems inventors face and answers whether you need to register your trademark, patent, or copyright. Keep it right here. Part 2 is up next.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, and there's many listening today. You can go and you can register your trademark with the trademark office, or just by using that trademark and it's in use in the marketplace, you can have protection under the laws for trademark. Speak a little bit about that, the decision to either just kind of go with it, ride it, or actually go through the actual formal process.
You know, that's really great the way you just said that. And I was actually thinking about talking about that while I was giving you the all that information about infringement. Lawyers come to me and say, "Hey, I have a client that has to trademark this thing," and the way you just said it was perfect. No, you don't trademark it by filing your registration. You register the trademark that you already own. Now, how do you own the trademark? When does it first get rights in it? As soon as you use it. You put it up on your billboards. You put it on your goods or your advertisement for the service. You have common law rights. Now, the thing about common law rights is they're local. They're only good as to where you actually used it. So if you're just using them in New York State or Florida or California, you're only going to gain local rights to those common law rights. If you register your trademark with the federal government, you get statutory rights and you get rights throughout the whole country. So you instantly put everybody on notice. It's not actual notice, it's constructive notice that everybody should know that you have this because it's registered, it's a registered mark. And then you also get the statutory federal court damages, and there's a lot of statutory benefits that you get from registering it. Now, there was a case from the 1960s in Illinois, and there was a restaurant called Burger King. And they were the very first Burger King, and they had common law rights in it. But they never registered it nationally. They only registered it locally in the state of Illinois. So now when the big company, the federal Burger King that we all know and love today, went to register their federal trademark, and they came into Illinois, the little Burger King company says, no, you can't come in here because we used it first, and we have common law rights in it. Well, the court said, yeah, you have common law rights locally where you used it, and pretty much you're only one restaurant. And so just people in about a 500-mile radius around you really know about you, because this is before the internet or anything. So we're going to draw a line, a 500-mile circle around you, and we're going to say you can't go outside of that line, and the big Burger King can't come inside of that line. And even to this day, there's a 500-mile radius of where Big Burger King can't come, right near Chicago, which is a big area for them. And I think they've offered tens of thousands of dollars to the little Burger King to let them come in, but to this day they've been stubbornly holding on to that little geographical spot. So yeah, you gain common law rights the minute you start using it, but you really need to register it so you have national rights and you cover the whole country, especially with the way the internet is now. It's just such a small world that I have clients that 5 years ago weren't making any products at all, and now they're selling millions of dollars. He made $3 million, one guy, last year selling products on Amazon. It's just amazing. And he's obviously not just selling to people just locally here in the U.S. He's selling all over the world. And he's shipping out $3 million worth of products every year. It's just amazing to me how people can take a simple idea from nothing and turn it into millions of dollars. And I keep saying there's all kinds of ideas out there floating around, just waiting to be thought of for inventors to come up with and make millions of dollars just for the taking. And it's so simple to do with the internet and with a lot of people say make everything in the U.S., but with China, you could literally pick any product you want, and in a day, if you have the money to do it, in one day they could have it shipped to you, whatever it is. You can create it, and I'm not just talking one product. I'm talking 20,000. On like a home shopping network or a QVC. Though I still can't even get over it. I had a client, he's in 15 minutes sold 22,000 products. Like, how do they take those phone calls? What do they have, 1,000 people on the phone taking those in 15 minutes, 22,000 orders? But it doesn't happen for everybody. It's not easy, but it's just sitting there waiting. Anybody can do it. Literally anybody can do it.
So what are the 7 problems that most inventors face?
Well, the first major, the big 3 is what I said before about Coca-Cola, the manufacturing, marketing, and distribution. The thing with inventors is they come to me with one hat, and what's the hat they're wearing? They're wearing the hat of the inventor. They just have the idea, and they don't know how to manufacture, how to market, and how to, which shelf am I going to go on? Where is it going to go? So that's a big thing, just to do all those things. And because they don't know how to do that, they are victims of these 800, invent. I don't want to name anybody, per se, like, Davison or something. And I just named one. But Davison is a company that that it's on the internet and you can go look for them, and they claim to be an one-stop shop where they're going to help you do all these things, and they're going to get your product out and you're going to make millions of dollars. And I always say, no inventor's ever sat across me and says, I have a terrible idea, no one's going to like it. I mean, everybody comes, they're in love with their idea. So they're an easy marks for a salesman to say, oh, it's such a great idea. You're going to make millions of dollars and it's going to work. Just give us $10,000 and we'll do everything for you, and you'll be all set, and we'll be making millions of dollars together. Now, if you go at the bottom of Davison's website, there's a court-ordered disclaimer that they mandatorily had to put in there. And I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but and with round numbers, they have close to 1 million. I think it was like 700 or 800,000 people have given them money. And they had to put the percentage of people that actually made money with them after they gave them money and did everything they had, actually came back with a positive cash flow. And the number was some real low number. The number was something like 14. And it was like 0.0001% or something. Some like incredibly low number. So the main thing is for an inventor is just to figure out how to just to take it from their idea to that shelf, to a product on a shelf, and it's just to get from there to there is the hardest thing. And so what do I say? What should they do? I say first you have to learn, and you have to take. My father was a old Italian guy that never hired anybody to do anything. He would climb up on the roof and do the roof himself. He would paint. He would do the electrical. He would never pay anybody to do it. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I don't know if you have to do that so much, but I think the inventor has to be the general contractor. The inventor has to figure out the best way to manufacture it, figure out the best way to have it delivered, and who's would be the best fit. And it's not easy, especially if you're the mother with the new baby bottle nipple. You're just not going to know how to do all this stuff, but you have to almost teach yourself to do it. There was a great book I read. It was how to license your $1 million idea, and I'm not sure about the author, but maybe I can send a link to it. But he had put a lot of these success stories up and what people have done on their own. And one of the success stories was the the woman who invented Spanx. Have you?
Oh yeah,
you
Sarah Blakely. Yeah, she's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. She turned into the Oprah Winfrey of nylons, and she was, if you know her story, and you obviously do, she knocked on 1 million doors before somebody actually
absolutely
listened to her. And I guess she finally waited outside an office of some big CEO, and she literally did the elevator speech down, from the top of the stairs to the bottom. I guess she had her Spanx on him. She showed him her ass, and he was hooked, and he decided to buy it, and everything went from there. But it's when people look at her now and say, "Oh, look how famous and powerful and how much money she's making, how easy she has it." But no, it wasn't easy. I mean, she went through hell before anybody would even listen to her. So, and it takes like that fire in the belly and the persistence. So it's another thing that inventor needs. He needs to be persistent, never say die. And always like learning what's the next step? What do I need to do next? Everybody says what I want to do is license my idea and go in front of go to Sears and get them to license my idea and start putting it on other shelves. Well, I don't know if you've ever read one of Sears non-disclosure agreements, or one of those big companies, but they're so one-sided. They basically say, if we want to give you money, we will. If not, we're just going to take it for ourselves. It's just so one-sided. It's ridiculous. So, and then how do you even get your foot in the door? If you come up with an idea for a way to defrost the planes of an airplane, I mean, if I went to the president of that company and said, "Look, I got this great idea that's going to put you above all your competitors," chances are there's not a whole line of people out there with these ideas. He's going to probably listen to you. But if you go to Sears with your new gadget for the kitchen, there's probably 100 other housewives out there with their own ideas, and you're just not even to get your foot in the door. So part of it depends on just the industry that you're doing, you're in as well, as far as whether you can get your foot in the door. But if it means standing outside the guy's office and waiting for him, to show him your invention, I mean, that's something you might have to do. I said, when I was a little boy, and we had to make a decision, my mother would sit me down and we would put a yellow legal pad out there, and we'd draw a line down the middle, and we'd put the pluses on one side and the minuses on the other side. And if the minuses outweighed the pluses, we would do the deal, and if the pluses outweighed the minuses, we wouldn't do the deal. So what happens when you try to make a royalty agreement, a licensing agreement? The company's going to put all their pluses on one side, manufacturing, marketing, money, who's going to put up the money, the distribution channels. We're going to take we already have our distribution channels set up. We already have products on the shelves. We're going to have to take those products off. We're going to have to reconfigure all our machines to make your new thing. We're going to be doing everything. And what do you have? Well, I have the idea. Well, how good of an idea? The idea itself isn't going to sell it. The inventor has to be able to sell it. The inventor has to be able to put some of those pluses on his side of the board. I've already figured out how much it's going to cost exactly. I could have this money delivered to this place for this amount. I know that there's a need and a want for this product because we've already sold so many on the internet, and it's just starting to take off. So the inventor can't just expect that the idea is going to sell itself, because it just doesn't do it. Ideas are just like fluff in the sky. They don't mean anything unless there's action behind it, and you're able to put something behind it. Unless you're George Foreman, I'm sure he didn't invent that.
But it didn't always start that way.
But George Foreman, his big plus is his name.
Yeah.
But if you're George Smith, it's just not gonna. You're not gonna be able to make the same deal as George Foreman. You better be able to put some of those pluses on your side of the ledger.
Yeah.
On your side of the ledger.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Sarah Blakely. When she started, lives right down the street here, and she started with a pair of pantyhose. She took the feet off it, and then turned them into like the first prototype of Spanx. And then she spent months up in North Carolina trying to find a hosiery factory or manufacturer that would actually work with her to design this thing and put, to make some more of the prototype, but make some of the first runs. And she couldn't find anybody. They just laughed at her like, that's not going to work. They're not going to do that. So she finally found someone there. Then she's figured out, okay, I've got to sell this. What do I need to do? And she went to Neiman Marcus, and she literally went to the store here in Atlanta and said, I want to sell this. And they're like, no, that's not the way it works. You've actually got to go to our buying office. And that the story that you told about her just showing up there, she called, didn't really have an appointment. They said, yeah, if you want to fly out here, fly out here. Showed up, had to go in the stall in the women's room to put it on because the buyer wasn't buying until she actually saw it. Then when she sold it to Neiman Marcus, she then spent the next 2.5 years every single day on the floor selling her product to people that walked into Neiman Marcus. She was like one of their outsourced salespeople. That's what you got to do. It's not about just coming up with a great idea. And she started that business with $5,000, never did any advertising until last month, and it's a $1 billion organization.
Exactly. And so, and everybody looks at the end product and say, "Oh, look at how
lucky she got.
How easy it is." It wasn't. She was on the floor.
2.5 years.
Yeah,
2.5 years selling it, just like and you know what she did also? She would give away Spanx to the saleswomen that worked in those departments. So it's like, here's a pair for you, here's a pair for you. So she started getting raving fans that were then selling her product as well.
How smart is that?
Yeah.
How smart is that?
That's where she spent her advertising.
So you need both. You need all those things. And I tell my kids at school, there's 3 things you have to do in life, and I think it's true for anything. This is a college kids. If you're listening, you have to be book smart. As you learn as much as you can. Because you got to be able to still put it all together, and you got to make it work. You got to be street smart, and street smart is knowing that if I give them to these salesmen, these salespeople are going to be selling it, and you have to network and make friends. So she made friends with all those people by handing them this new invention, and they liked her as a result of it. So networking, street smart, and book smart, and those are. I think that's true for any person in any walk of life, and with the internet now, your networking channels are the whole world. It's not just going to church and shaking hands at church on Sunday. You can shake hands with the entire world.
Absolutely. Well, the bottom line here is all of this copyright, patent infringement, trademark, all of this stuff, or patent law, I should say, patent infringement, is very complicated. You have to know what you're doing. If you make some mistakes in this area, it can be extremely, extremely costly. I got one of these letters, cease and desist, on a product that I designed, and they come after you so hard, all you want to do is just kind of raise up your hands. The letter basically says, you're infringing on our patent. Not only are we going to sue you, we're going to take back all the profits that you've ever made on this product. We want to know all your inventory, right?
Yes.
This is how these letters go. So
scary.
You don't want to get these letters, trust me, because if it doesn't mean that much, in this case, I just changed the design. I was like, I didn't know I did that. Sorry, I really wasn't trying to infringe on anybody's patent or trademark. And so I just backed off and changed it. But it's serious. So if you're in this area and you need some help, reach out to Vincent. So Vincent, why don't you share how they can get a hold of you?
Well, one of the things I do is I do videos on YouTube, and if you just go to Patent Home or just type in the word patent, I come up on the first page in the YouTube videos, and I have answer a lot of the questions. My webpage is LoTempiolaw.com. LoTempiolaw.com. We're going to put up a page /peak, PEAK, so LoTempio Law /peak for this landing page, just for this show, and we're going to rebroadcast or repost this show up on my webpage, but LoTempiolaw.com. And if you scroll down to the bottom of LoTempio Law, you can see my actual law firm that I work with, Claw Stinger and LoTempio, and I'm a partner in a firm here in Western New York in Buffalo. But as a registered patent attorney, I have clients from all over the U.S. In fact, all over the world. I have clients from Russia and France and everywhere. So you could contact me through the internet, Vincent LoTempio, patent attorney, and I'm sure I'd come right up on a lot of those Google searches.
Vincent, thank you so much for sharing all this. This is a really, really important area for every single entrepreneur, and I really appreciate you putting out those YouTube videos because this is one of those areas, and we talk a lot about knowledge here. Peak, The K stands for knowledge, correct knowledge. If you don't have that as a foundation, you might be able to execute, you might have the accountability, but you'll never turn it into profits if you're working off the wrong knowledge. And this is an area that can come back and bite you in the butt. Make sure you know what you're doing, and make sure you got a professional like Vincent on your team. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to having you back on the show.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. It was a great day.
Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.